All right, let's get cozy. What is up, chat? Welcome to our weekly stream. We are here, we are live. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Welcome. Let's see who gets in here first. Still trying to get used to this new chat thing that they've got going on. Today, we are going to be talking about creating separation and healing, guys. Creating separation and healing. Separation. Separation. What is up, Elliot? First in chat. What's up, dude? Welcome, man. Gorilla, what's up, meat? Welcome, dude. Hope you're doing fantastic. Gorilla Slam, I knew it was coming, man. I knew it was coming. Hi from Canada. What's up, Denise? Hello and welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Creating separation and healing. That is what we're going to be talking about today, you guys. This goes right in line with everything, of course, that we've been saying since day one. Befriending anxiety, belittling anxiety, any change of perspective that you can muster and start working on to create that separation, right? So that it's no longer a personal problem. So you're not viewing anxiety as a problem. You're not viewing the thoughts and feelings as a problem. Creating separation. I'm going to get so tongue-tied on that word for some reason. I can sense it for some reason. But yes, that is what we're doing here today, guys. First in chat. What is up, Luis? Welcome, dude. Hope you're doing well, man. We're going to give it a minute. Allow some people to get in here who want to watch us live. I know we're a little late. It is a Monday, and we were going to do our weekly stream on the weekends, but when have I ever been on time, right? When have I ever been on time? Been stuck with a sick brain feeling for months, almost like my brain is inflamed or has the flu, getting old. We're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how much your perspective matters. We're going to talk about how much what you feed yourself matters mentally, right? We're going to talk about all that good stuff. Of course, every one of our streams always goes hand in hand with our main point of acceptance. Just many different ways of putting it, right? That's what this is, just many different ways of putting it. What is up, Ava? Hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome to the stream. We're going to get started in just a second, you guys. We're going to get rolling with the point of the stream today. Creating separation and healing. This is a good one. I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to see this title and be like, that's not for me. It's not very interesting. But this is going to be a good one. This one's important. So, what's up, Rich? Good to see you, dude. It's been a minute. Wonderful, glad for the live stream. I'm slowly recovering the right way. The old me is returning. Anxiety is losing its grip. You helped me get there. Thank you, Rich. That is awesome, dude. Thank you for coming in, sharing the positivity. Really appreciate it. Sick brain feeling. Kind of sounds like brain fog in a way. All right, you guys. Congratulations, Rich, again, man. Congratulations again. Yeah, my back has been killer. I have not really been able to do much of anything other than just lay there and look at the ceiling. I don't know what I did to my back, but today, I just woke up not long ago, and today actually feels like a day that I can walk, so that's nice. I don't know how I managed to pull my back out, but here we are. What's up, Remy? Same here. Listen to Wonder Bro and you will be living. Love it, Luis. Thank you for that. Alright, guys, let's go ahead and get started with the point of today's stream. We're going to be talking about creating separation and healing from anxiety. So, creating separation, let's go ahead and get this music out of here. Creating separation and healing. Alright, guys, let's start this one off. So, here recently on the channel, we've been doing a lot of videos on perspective, viewing your anxiety as a storm, or viewing it as a fire that needs to burn, a storm that needs to run out of rain, a salesman, right? A salesman that needs to knock don't buy, don't open the door, don't answer the door, right? So we've been talking a lot about analogies here recently on the channel, and changing your perspective so that you can either belittle or befriend anxiety and knock it off that pedestal that you have it placed on, right? So today is kind of along those same lines, creating separation, and that's what these analogies do. They create separation, because here's the thing. When you say to yourself, right, let's say you're experiencing high levels of anxiety felt in the body, and you say, Rich, thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much, dude. Really quick, guys, every tip that we get on today's stream is going towards helping a family member out that is in like desperate need right now. So that is, all my tips are not going to me today. They are going to a family member. They don't know that I'm going to help them. I never told them, because, why would you do that? But after this stream is over, every single tip that we get on the stream is going to this family member that is in some pretty serious need at the moment. So I can't really get into the details, but yes, the tips are not going to me today. They are going to them. So thank you very much, Rich, for that. I really appreciate it, dude. Anyway, let's say you start to feel high levels of physical anxiety, right? Purple hearts in the chat for Rich. High levels of physical anxiety. And you start to tell yourself something along the lines of, man, I'm really freaking out. That's a problem. Right? My body is really freaking out. That's my issue. I need to do something about that. Or let's say you have a head full of negative, intrusive thoughts, and you say, oh, I can't stop thinking that, or I need to stop thinking that. And you start to take your physical and mental symptoms personally. That is an issue. And I'll tell you why that's an issue. Because you're already putting anxiety on a pedestal. You're saying, this is a personal problem that I need to do something about. And anxiety is not a personal problem that you need to do something about. As soon as you start to believe that it's a personal problem that you need to do something about, you're going to start trying really hard to make those symptoms in your body go away. And you're going to start trying really hard to make those intrusive thoughts in your head go away. And that's where you get into trouble. That is second fear. Of course, any sort of figuring out, arguing with, compulsions, fighting with is a problem, right? So creating separation, although I know it might not be the most interesting topic for a lot of you to listen to, it's actually a very crucial topic, because now I want you to picture that you're experiencing high levels of anxiety in your body in this moment, or you're experiencing intrusive thoughts, and you say something along the lines of, okay, there's that anxiety acting up. My anxiety is allowed to freak out. Okay, so there's my anxiety giving me all those thoughts. My anxiety is allowed to freak out. My body is allowed to freak out. It's not my problem. I don't need to make it my problem. See, there's separation there. I don't need to make it my problem. It's just what is. This is the accepting inner voice, right? This is no longer mentally fighting with your thoughts and feelings through separation. You're saying, okay, there's my nervous system freaking out. My nervous system is allowed to freak out. Doesn't mean I have to freak out, because don't you see, that's what second fear is. When there's no separation and your nervous system is freaking out, and then you freak out on top of it because you took it personally and there was no separation, that's what second fear is. Second fear is when your nervous system freaks out and you freak out on top of it. Second fear is when you have your mind, your anxious mind, freaking out and you freak out on top of it. You need to become the leader. You need to become the coach. You need to take a step back. When your nervous system is freaking out and giving you all those physical symptoms, and your anxious mind is freaking out and giving you all those intrusives, you need to become the leader, the coach, and you need to take a step back, form some separation, and say something like, you know what, my nervous system is allowed to freak out. It's not my problem. It has nothing to do with me. That's my nervous system freaking out. I'm not going to freak out on top of it. Oh, there's my anxious mind freaking out a little bit, giving me all these intrusive thoughts. It's not my problem, right? That's my anxious mind, right? It's not my problem, and I'm just going to allow it to freak out, right? So second fear, the simplest way to describe second fear would be to say, freaking out on top of your body freaking out on top of your mind freaking out. Your mind and body are allowed to freak out, guys. That is the entire point of acceptance. It's only when you get involved and you start freaking out on top of the body and mind that are freaking out that it becomes a problem. So do you see, does everybody in chat, show of hands, drop some emojis, does everybody in chat see where I'm going with this, right? How important separation is? Because when you can say to yourself, my anxious mind is allowed to freak out. I don't have to freak out on top of it. My anxious body is allowed to freak out. I don't have to freak out on top of it. That separation is so crucial, because now you're no longer making it your problem. Anxiety has never been your problem, right? If the body wants to freak out, the body can freak out. If the anxious mind wants to freak out, the anxious mind can freak out. It's not your problem. When you turn it into your problem, right, now you feel compelled to solve it. And the more you try to solve it, right? The deeper you get, the more you try to dig yourself out, you're actually going down. You're digging yourself a deeper hole. And you get in that place, you get in that headspace where you're trying to fight against your thoughts and feelings, right? Because you don't form separation, because there's no separation there, right? There's no separation there. So that is the issue. Because if you're saying, oh, my body's freaking out, now I have to freak out. My mind is freaking out, now I have to freak out. That is a problem. But if there is separation, and you can start to say to yourself in a gentle yet stern manner, right? Hey, my body's allowed to freak out. I don't have to freak out on top of it. You do what you're doing, right? You do what you're doing, body. That's not my problem. You do what you're doing, anxious mind, with the intrusive thoughts. That's not my problem either. It's when you make it your problem and then feel compelled to do something about it. Now you're getting into trouble, right? Because you're adding second fear. You're in resistance. You're fighting against it. But these things are not your problem. They've never been your problem. You just can't see that right now because there's no separation. So the next time your anxiety is high, remind yourself, wait a minute, let me create some separation. Okay, so what did he tell me to do? Take a step back, right? Take a step back. There's that feeling. My body's freaking out. That doesn't mean I have to freak out. My mind is freaking out. That doesn't mean I have to freak out, right? So you're not taking your anxiety as who you are anymore, because it's not who you are. You guys have so many more qualities to you as a human being and so many other things going for you than your anxiety. Stop making anxiety your total existence. Stop making anxiety who you are. Stop making anxiety your problem. It's never been your problem. It's not your problem now. It's when you make it your problem that now you have to do something about it that you're getting into trouble, right? But if there is separation and you can start to remind yourself, hey, body, you're allowed to freak out. Doesn't mean I have to freak out. Hey, mind, you're allowed to freak out and send me all these intrusives. Doesn't mean I have to freak out. See, that is the difference. I burped a little bit. If you heard that, I apologize. That is the difference between first and second fear. First fear is the body freaking out. First fear is the anxious mind freaking out. That's fine. You can't control first fear. You have to let it happen in order for it to come out and cleanse itself and heal, right? It's second fear. When you freak out on top of your body freaking out, when you freak out on top of your mind freaking out, that is in your control, and we must start to practice eliminating that, because you can't have a fire and continuously throw gasoline on that fire and expect that fire to go out, right? So separation, guys. Separation. It's all about separation, and that's what all my analogies are trying to get at. Whether you want to view it as, okay, here's the storm, and the storm just needs to run out of rain. Okay, it's okay if it rains. Learn to dance in it, right? I know that's a cliche saying, but learn to dance in it. There's the fire. The fire just needs to burn up. Allow it to burn. So what it comes down to at the end of the day with all of these analogies, there's the salesman knocking at the door, right? There's the salesman knocking at the door. Right? We will get to questions at the end of the stream. I don't want to get too off track. There's the salesman. I lost it. No, I got it. There's the salesman knocking at the door. You see all of these analogies, right? All of these analogies are there to try to help you form separation. Because if there is no separation, now you are going to fight with every thought and every feeling. Because you're taking it personal. You're taking it as your problem, and you're putting it up on a very high pedestal. And as long as anxiety is up on a very high pedestal, you cannot accept it, right? You can't accept something that you view as personal, my problem that I have to fix. You can't accept something that you view as a monster or some type of enemy or beast. You can't accept something like that, right? It's impossible to accept something that you view in that way. So you've got to change your view, and that's going to come down to what you tell yourself. Right, that's going to come down to what you tell yourself. So there's the storm; it needs to run out of rain. There's the fire; it needs to burn up without me throwing gas on it. There's the nosy salesman trying to knock on my door. It's okay if he knocks; just let those feelings and thoughts knock. There's my anxiety being a little bitch and freaking out. That's fine. I don't have to freak out with it, right? There's that little child throwing a tantrum, my physical symptoms and my mental symptoms. I don't have to throw a tantrum with it. It's when you throw tantrums with the tantrums that you're in trouble, right? So the body and mind are allowed to throw whatever tantrum they want to throw, create separation and say, hey, my body's allowed to throw a tantrum. My mind is allowed to throw a tantrum. Don't throw a tantrum with it. If you throw a tantrum with it, which means getting involved. Oh, I don't want these feelings. How do I make these feelings stop? And that thought, I need to figure out that thought. Let me try to get to the bottom of that thought. When you throw a tantrum with the tantrum, Now we're double trouble, right? We call that second fear. These tantrums will pass on their own as long as you're not adding to them by throwing your own tantrum on top of them, right? So I think this stream really makes very clear what first and second fear is, right? First fear is when the body and mind throw a tantrum. Your intrusive thoughts, or thought, if you just have one that's kind of sticky. Your physical symptoms of anxiety, right? First fear is when your body and mind are throwing some sort of a tantrum. Second fear, and it's out of your control. We accept first fear. First fear has to come out to get to healing. Second fear is in your control. That's when you throw a tantrum on top of throwing, on the body and mind throwing a tantrum. That's when you add to the tantrum, right? So every analogy that I've ever given here on the channel, you know, we've already went over all of them. Every perspective change that I've ever tried to give here on the channel is me trying to get you to form some sort of separation instead of viewing anxiety as this big bad thing that you have to fight against, that you have to do something about. It's just not true. It's just a child that needs to kick and scream until it's finished, right? But when you view it as a big bad thing that you have to do something about, that's automatic second fear, right? So we need to change your perspective. We need to get you to a place of acceptance, and we can't really get you to a place of acceptance if your perspective of anxiety is not, you know what I'm saying? Is not something. We can't get you to a place of acceptance, right? If you view anxiety as something bigger than you, if you view anxiety as something that is ruining your life, right? We can't get there. So understand, guys, what it comes down to at the end of the day, right? What it comes down to at the end of the day is a perspective change. It is a perspective change. It is what you tell yourself about the anxiety, and there's got to be like some form of separation has to come into the picture, right? Some form of separation has to come into the picture. All right, you guys? So that was the point of today's stream. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a quick like. We are going to answer questions now in just a second. I need to grab my charger for my headset before that dies. It is beeping in my ear. But yes, that is the point of the stream. If you want to hang out, get some questions answered, just chat with the rest of the chat, then that is fine. We're going to do just that, and I will be right back. All right. Let's see. My struggle is when my fears get reflected back to me as punishment whenever I try to resist the intrusive thoughts. Well, you're not resisting anything. That's not what acceptance is about. Keep that in mind. You're not resisting anything. You're allowing whatever flows to flow. When you try to resist something, it's just going to grow. So you're not resisting anything. You're creating separation. You're saying to yourself that the thoughts are actually allowed to come and go, and the feelings are allowed to come and go too. What's up, Donkey? Yeah, you're creating separation. You're not trying to do anything about the thoughts and feelings. Instead, you're just not taking them personally, right? It's when you take them personally and you fight against them that they become a big problem. Yeah, exactly. Just like Kay said, it's really as simple as don't do anything about it. And that's where separation becomes so helpful, right? That's where separation becomes so helpful, because when there is separation and you're allowed to say to yourself, that's my body freaking out, or that's my mind freaking out, it really does help. It helps a ton, because then you're not taking it personal. You don't feel the need to do something about it. You don't feel the need to try to put any sort of brakes on. You're just, okay, the body is allowed to freak out, the mind is allowed to freak out, and there's some separation there, right? Let's see. Someone who has no resistance isn't upset or frustrated that it's still here, because they are okay with it being there. So again, we come full circle to separation, right? Because it's no longer your problem. It's when you make anxiety your problem. It's when you make what your body's doing your problem, when you make what your mind is doing your problem, and then you try really hard to do something about that. That is where it starts to get really slippery, and you start to fall a bit. You start to fall into a good amount of second fear, because now you're getting really worked up over what your body and mind is doing, right? And that's because there's no separation. There is no separation there. What's up, Trish? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing fantastic. I'm going to scroll way up here because I know I've missed a lot. Don't believe everything you think. Explains exactly how we create our own suffering with thinking, and it aligns exactly with what you're teaching, which says don't analyze. Yes, don't add to. What's up, PJ? I feel like I do when I'm in an elevator and I run outside, freaking out every time. So kind of like that feeling of dropping. When you said elevator, that's what it makes me think of, that feeling of like dropping. What's up, Junior? The depression of anxiety sucks. Man, I just want to feel happy and careless. And here's the irony of that. So, again, you are freaking out about your body and mind freaking out. Like, there's nothing you can do about a tired nervous system freaking out. Like, if you're going to experience physical symptoms, if you're going to experience mental symptoms, there is nothing you can do about that except get into the practice of not freaking out over your body and mind freaking out. Your body and mind are allowed to freak out, but you don't want to freak out on top of it. If you freak out on top of it, that is run-of-the-mill second fear. Right, and that's what allows, or doesn't allow your mind and body to heal, right? Donkey, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Donkey, with a $5 tip, man. Like I said, every tip that goes into this stream is not going to me. It is going to a family member who is in desperate need of some help right now. So, without getting into it too personally, yeah, every tip on this stream is very much appreciated, as always, especially today, because it's all going for someone else who really needs some help. So I really appreciate it. As soon as this stream is over, I'm going to be sending it to them. They don't know I'm doing it, so I want to surprise them a bit. So thank you, Donkey, for the $5 tip, man. Really appreciate it. Says, curious to see this year's Halloween decor for live streams, Wonder Bro. Yes, we're going to have to decorate a little bit for Halloween like we always do. What is up, Kristen? Good morning, Wonder Bro from India. Love you. Just wake up and saw live after a long time. What is up, Prince? Welcome to the stream, dude. Hope you're doing fantastic. But yes, Ghost. We got Ghost in the house. What's up? That is the irony, man. Like, I understand I get it. You want to feel happy and careless like how you was before all this. I understand that. That is a perfectly fine goal to have. I get that. The irony is you cannot freak out over the body and mind freaking out. Like, you can't add that freak out to the freak out, right? You got to allow the body and mind to freak out and not add freak out on top of it, because it does not allow the feelings and thoughts to flow freely, and for the nerves to catch a break, and for this stuff to get out of your system, and for you to heal. So if you add freak out to the freak out, right, that is what we call classic second fear, and that is what gets you into a bit of trouble. So you really have to view this stuff as allowed to be. You have to view it as separation. Again, the point of this stream, you have to form some separation there, right? The ups and downs of this recovery journey is intense, almost makes you feel like you're bipolar or something. Again, create more separation. Continue to create separation and have that better perspective. What is up, Lucy? Any advice when you're trying to accept your anxiety when it's really intense, causing memory and concentration problems at work, and you make mistakes and panic that you might get fired? So again, adding freak out to the freak out. If your body is freaking out and it's causing you to be able to not concentrate as much, there's nothing you can do about that. And that is acceptance of reality, right? The reality is that your body might freak out from time to time with anxiety, or a lot of the time, and your mind might freak out too. The acceptance of reality is that there's nothing you can or need to do about that, right? Because the moment you start to add freak out to that, so you start to say things like, oh, I might get fired because my body is doing, now you're adding freak out to the freak out, and that's what stops healing from occurring. So we can't, Fully, thank you so much, dude. Thank you, Fully. Every time we get a tip, I'm gonna say this. Every tip that we get on the stream today is going to a family member of mine that is in some serious need of help. So thank you guys very much. All the tips are not going to me today. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I don't have the freak out on top of the freak out anymore, if that makes any sense. Just a constant first fear. It does make sense, but remember that there is different ways that you could be adding freak out to the freak out, right? By questioning, when is this going to go away, you are adding somewhat of a freak out to the freak out. It doesn't have to be full blown. You can still be adding freak out to the freak out, right? In little ways too, like, oh my God, much longer is this going to be here? And I really hate this. I don't want to deal with this. So you can add little amounts of that. We want to try to get rid of that too. And again, you can only do that by creating that separation, right? That separation. Why is this 2 seconds? I need to reach under my desk. All right. Sorry about that. I notice I'll get intrusive thoughts at work for whatever reason, and I notice I'll end up interacting with them, but I'll remember they're just thoughts and do my best to stay out of them. There's nothing wrong with adding a little bit of freak out to it, right? As long as you catch yourself and try to create that separation and go back to a baseline of acceptance. So there's nothing wrong with making mistakes on this journey. There's nothing wrong with not being perfect, but you want to catch that as soon as possible and get right back to acceptance, right? It's a practice. It's not something you perfect right away. It's a practice. That is a good point, Kay says. I think we also forget that we can't control first fear. Once I understood I couldn't control my symptoms, it makes acceptance easier. Yes, exactly. And that is a big one that I still try to preach to people to this day, is that you cannot control first fear. That is the separation that I'm talking about, right? That is the separation that I'm talking about. You cannot control first fear. If your body is going to freak out, it's going to freak out. If your mind is going to freak out with intrusives, it's going to freak out. That is okay. That's not your problem. If you make it your problem, now you're trying to do the impossible, which is shut down first fear, and now you're going to get really worked up. So you can't control first fear. Your body's allowed to freak out. Your mind is allowed to freak out. Remind yourself of that. That's what I mean by create separation. Remind yourself of that and tell yourself, hey, body, hey, mind, you're allowed to freak out. I'm not going to freak out with you. Telling yourself that in the moment can be very helpful because you're creating separation. You're not trying to control first fear, which, just like your comment says, Kay, is a big problem. It's a big problem because you're trying to do the impossible and you're going to get really worked up. What happened to the red bar sign? It's still here. It's right here. You can't really see it. It's a little dark. It's still back there. It's best to really just notice they're just thoughts and move on. Yes. Absolutely, Lucy. I hope that helps. What if you have separation anxiety? Acceptance. By the way, one of one, thank you so much for all the, I think it's you. Your username sounds familiar. Thank you for all the positive interaction over on the Instagram. I noticed that you're always interacting with my stuff over there. Might not be you, but I think it is. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thank you again, guys. Fully for the 5, Donkey for the 5, and Rich for the 30. Really appreciate it, guys. I'm sending every dime of this to a family member who needs some help right now. So thank you guys so much for supporting that. Really appreciate it. Whatever we get in this stream is going straight to them. Just normal frustration. It's okay to be frustrated, Elliot. That is okay. It only becomes a problem if you live there, right? It only becomes a problem if you live in your frustration and you constantly have this sort of inner dialogue of frustration, right? Because very quickly, frustration can turn into taking it too personally, right? That's what we're trying to get away from, taking it so personally and creating separation. So it's okay to not be perfect. Nobody is perfect. You're all very much just human beings, right? But you don't want to live in that frustration. There's a difference between experiencing frustration and living in frustration. So as long as you're not living in it, right? Try to get back to creating that separation. Tell your family member we wish him and her the best one, bro. I absolutely will. Like I said, they have no idea that I'm basically just going to give them my stream tips today. They have no clue that I'm doing this. They had asked for help, and things are pretty tight for everybody. So, but that's what I'm going to do. That's what I've decided I'm going to do. Is just whatever I get during the stream, I'm going to send to them. And I'm more than happy to give you guys all the credit, of course, obviously. So I will give them your best wishes, Donkey. I appreciate that. Everybody needs a little help from time to time, so I'm just doing what I can, People do it for me, right? So I want to do it for somebody else. Did you go to church or try to get closer to God when you were trying to recover? No, I did not. But, when it comes to religion or people's religious beliefs, that's not really my cup of tea. I think everybody is allowed to believe whatever they want to believe, and I respect it all equally as long as it's not hurting anybody else. But me personally, no, I didn't go to church because of anxiety. I think, if I think back hard enough, I think there was a time when I was younger, maybe not full-blown sensitization, but starting to deal with anxiety to a degree, that I thought maybe religion was the way to go. I remember kind of contemplating that when I was much, much younger, like before a lot of the full-blown sensitization stuff. I remember contemplating that when I was younger, but that's about as much as I did. Donkey, thank you so much, dude. Thank you, says, here's a little more. Wonder Bro paying it forward. Thank you so much, Donkey. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate you guys. That does hit our tip goal. But every dime that we get on the stream today is going to go to somebody in need. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And they will be extremely grateful, too. Thank you so much. As soon as I send it their way, I'm going to let them know that it was because of you guys. So thank you for that. Everybody needs help from time to time, so I'm just gonna do what I can, right? It's all you can do. Oh, for sure, I've been taking it way too personally, if I'm honest. That's okay. That's okay. Creating it, making it into a problem, right, is a problem, and that's where separation becomes helpful. Like, why am I not getting to where I want to be? I used to be so chill and spontaneous and all that good stuff. I've been robbed. Yeah, we want to try to not live there, right? You want to try to not live in that headspace. You want to get back to a headspace of separation. Hey, my body's allowed to do what it's allowed to do. My mind is allowed to do what it's allowed to do, and that's fine. I don't have to make it a problem. Reminding yourself of that in the moment, creating that separation, will only help you get to a better place of acceptance. Oh, no, you're good, Elliot. It's always optional, dude. It's always optional. Just being here and watching the streams and interacting with the streams is enough. I appreciate it. What's up, Kevin? Hey, man, thanks for doing this. No problem, dude. What do you think about self-improvement in general, about improving your self-image, affirmations, all that crap? I don't think there's anything wrong with self-improvement in general. I think once you've got acceptance and you're practicing accepting those thoughts and feelings, creating that separation, I think the little things that you want to add to that are just icing on the cake. If you want to start exercising, for example, go for it. If you want to fix your sleep routine, go for it. If you want to cut out sugar, go for it. Cut out caffeine, go for it. If you want to tell yourself better things, affirmations, whatever, go for it. You're not doing any of that stuff to try to fight anxiety, though. That's the big thing. That's what you got to be aware of. You can do those things as icing on the cake, but when it comes to those thoughts and feelings, create separation. Don't mentally fight with those thoughts and feelings. Live your life. My 2 keys, right? Anything you want to do outside of those 2 keys, you can do as a bonus, as icing on your cake, but you don't want to do them and then tell yourself, oh, I hope this makes the anxiety go away. No, we've already got that covered with the 2 main keys. You're accepting those thoughts. You're accepting those feelings. Anything you do outside of that is just a bonus. So I hope that makes sense. And I've got nothing against that stuff. I recently started exercising, which I know is just mind-blowing because I've always said I don't know if I'll ever be kind of person to exercise, but I recently started exercising. I got some equipment. I got some like resistance bands and some ab rollers. I got a punching bag. I've been doing a lot of like kickboxing type stuff, and I've lost a good amount of weight doing it, and it feels good. It feels good. But all that stuff is just a bonus to your life. It should just be a bonus. As far as anxiety goes, you have those 2 keys. You need to practice those 2 keys. When I go into certain situations and the anxiety hits extreme, I start to try my best to accept and not do anything about it. But naturally my body and mind just starts fighting. It feels like it's rooted in. Well, that is your mind and body freaking out, and that's okay. As long as you come back to forming separation, you're fine. As long as you say, okay, my mind is really freaking out wanting me to do something, that's okay. My body's really freaking me out, or freaking out wanting to do something, that's okay. Just come back to creating acceptance and separation in a better perspective. Don't view it as a monster. Don't view it as something that you need to do anything about. Just remind yourself to let it run its course. Change that perspective, create that separation, right? Hey, Christian, thank you so much for the $5 Cash App, dude. Thank you so much for the $5 Cash App. I think I said that right, Christian? Yeah, thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate it. That takes us to 55. Thank you, guys. I know they will be very, very thankful for that. I know I say it every tip I get, but all the tips are not going to me today, guys. They are going to someone who needs it more than I do right now, so... They asked me for help. I wasn't sure how to help. It's tight for everyone, so I was like, you know what? I need to do my weekly stream, so why don't I just donate all of my proceeds from the weekly stream? I'll just give it to them, right? So that's what I'm going to do. You guys have helped me a ton and supported my channel for a long time and kept this show on the road, so I figured it wouldn't hurt to give the entire stream to somebody else who needs it more than I do right now. So everything that's tipped today is going to them. When I go into certain situations and anxiety hits extreme, oh wait, I've already read that. Same PJ, it's so automatic, but I catch myself most of the time doing that, but the feelings are always there. And it's fine, right? The feelings are allowed to be there. Do you think it helps to develop a routine, Wonder Bro? That way you don't have so much mind space? Well, my 2 keys are don't mentally fight with your thoughts and feelings and live your life, right? Live your life, that part of the equation, right? That part of the equation is that's what takes care of the routine part. Now, I'm not saying live your life means you need to have a solid, nailed down routine every moment of every day filled up. But if you truly are living your life, you're doing things other than sitting around thinking about your anxiety, right? So, kind of takes care of it. It is a practice. It's good to see you, PJ. It's been a while, dude. I haven't seen your name in a long time. What is up, Knight? You're the best, man. You're the best, dude. Thank you for watching the stream. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Give me just a second, guys. I need to blow my nose, and I want to do that on camera. All right. I don't know if it's allergies. I don't know if I've got a small cold or something, but I have been snorting a lot today. I love these streams. They are so helpful. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. For those of you who are new here, we mostly do videos these days, which is weird saying that because for the longest time we just did streams, but the videos are clearly the popular choice. They get way more views than the stream, and I really want to grow the channel. I don't want to get stuck where we're at. So everybody wants to grow, right? Obviously. So yeah, I've been doing more videos than streams, but people still love the streams, so I'm trying to do at least one a week of those. And then there's the coaching. If anybody's interested in coaching, reach out to me, man. DM me. DM me. I'm here. What's up, Wonder Bro? I can't lie. I tried to take a break from your channel because I felt like I needed a break from the anxiety videos. Nothing against you. No, that's fine, dude. That's fine. There is nothing wrong with somebody coming to me and say, hey, I'm trying to cut back on your videos because I just want to live more and I don't want to, be on the topic as much. That's great. I will support you in that fully, even if that comes at the expense of some views. I don't care. If it's helping you out and it's taking you to the next level, that's fine. I'll support that every time. Been living so much. Yeah, and you might be living so much, right? But remember, there's two keys for a reason. While you're living, you have to take responsibility for whether or not you're creating separation, viewing anxiety the right way, or if you're still viewing it as a monster and telling yourself all of those horrible things, right? You need to view it as just, hey, body, you're allowed to freak out. Mind, you're allowed to freak out. It's okay if you're upset. That's you talking to your body and mind instead of taking it personally, trying to fight with it, trying to fix it, all that stuff. So this is it. It's being scared, but not getting scared. The fear of anxiety symptoms, DR, only keeps it coming. Accept that you're feeling horrible without freaking out. You'll always be okay. That's fact. Yeah, it's about allowing your mind and body to freak out, right? Allowing your mind and body to freak out. Your body and mind, your mind and body, mind and body, body and mind and body. Allowing them to freak out, right? Without you adding freak out to it. That's probably the simplest way that you can word what first and second fear is, right? So a lot of people hear first and second fear and they're still not creating that separation. You need to start creating that separation. How do you do that? By reminding yourself of that. Accepting inner voice. Live your life, right? 2 keys right there. It's a practice, man. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. It takes time. I know you get sick of hearing that. Everybody gets sick of hearing that, but it's true. It takes time, and it's allowed to take time, right? Because you're learning this skill that is totally either totally new to you or it's still something that you struggle with, because let's face it, those are pretty intense thoughts and feelings. So yeah, it does take some time to really get this skill in there. So grateful for your channel, bro. I can come back. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Anytime. You can leave the channel if you feel like it's best for you. You can come back if you feel like it's best for you. It's all up to you. Either way, whether you leave for however long, and 2 months, and then come back, and we'll still greet you with open arms, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right. Oh, my back. I don't know how, dude. I don't know how I pulled my back or whatever it is I did. But, ooh. I'm not one to complain. But when you can't walk, it's hard not to complain a little bit. Am I allowed to bitch just a little bit? These streams definitely help me feel less alone and less ashamed. Oh, there's nothing to be ashamed about, right? You're definitely not alone. I can tell you that. There's so many people. I mean, just look at this channel, right? There's so many people going through what you're going through, and you definitely should not be ashamed, right? This is a journey. It's a practice. It's not something that comes super easy, right? So you should definitely not feel ashamed of doing what you've done to survive, right? Lynn, thank you so much for the $10 tip. Lynn, that takes us to 65. Thank you guys. Every single dollar of today's stream is going to somebody else in my family that needs it way more than I do right now. They are in quite a pickle. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. They don't know that I'm doing this, so I'm going to surprise them with it after the stream's off. I'm going to send it to them, be like, here, man, I know you needed some help. This is my way of helping. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you. I will let them know that you guys said best wishes. But yes, thank you for that. Maddie, is that my girl? Is that my girl, Maddie? What's up, Maddie? How are you supposed to stop yourself from fighting with negative thoughts when you start doing it automatically? Catch yourself. Catch yourself and say, wait a minute. My mind is allowed to freak out. That's fine. And remind yourself of that as often as you need to. My body's allowed to freak out. That's fine. Remind yourself of that as often as you need to. You catch yourself in bad habits, right? That's what it's about. Create some separation. Catch yourself. Form some separation. Adopt a new perspective, even if it's just for a second. That's when I was happy and free living. Well, you'll get back to that by not obsessing about how to get back to that, right? Giving your body and mind permission to feel exactly whatever they feel. Got crazy up here in the desert. Has that hurricane or whatever, like, has that happened yet? Has that rolled through? I don't know. Wasn't there some hurricane that was heading towards Cali? Has that already happened? That's it. Yeah, that's it, dude. You form separation. That way you're not freaking out about your body and mind freaking out, and you live. That's it. I know it sounds simple, but it does take practice. You know, it does take practice. It does take practice. Hey, Wonder Bro, if you don't fear your symptoms anymore, they should just go. That's not true. Does that mean you won't get setbacks either because you're no longer fearing the symptoms, nothing to fuel it? Let me explain why that's not true, because I don't want you to think the wrong thing here. Just because you don't fear your symptoms anymore and you've created separation, oh, my body's allowed to freak out, my mind's allowed to freak out, it's not my problem, not my personal problem. Just because you've done that doesn't mean the symptoms just go, right? It takes time for the nerves to heal. You're going to have to rinse and repeat that. So I want to point that out like right away, because I don't want you thinking something that's incorrect here and then thinking to yourself, oh, I must still fear them because they're still here. No, acceptance is about allowing what's there to be there, right? So creating separation, you know, it's just my body freaking out, it's my mind freaking out. I don't have to freak out on top of it and living your life, right? So make sure you, and maybe it was just the way you worded that, but make sure you're aware of that sometimes they can still hang out for a little bit. Been raining and windy for days. The hurricane never happened, but it got downgraded to a tropical storm. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's a relief. Just rain. Okay. Well, I'm happy for you guys. I'm glad Maddie didn't get blown off into the distance like the Wizard of Oz. I was thinking much better for a couple years. About a year ago, tangled myself up a bit again. It's been a year, and I'm following the advice best of my ability. It can still be messy from time to time, but it's all about creating that separation, yeah. And stop freaking out about freaking out, right? But fear is the whole issue. Well, fear of, because you're making it your problem. You're saying, oh, I got to do something about my body freaking out. I've got to do something about my mind freaking out. Truth is, you don't have to do anything about your body freaking out. You're just supposed to tell yourself, hey, okay, my body's freaking out. I don't have to make that my problem. My mind is freaking out. I don't have to make that my problem. It's when you make it your problem and then you start fighting with it. Now that's an issue. That's an issue. Stop trying to get to a place where you're just utterly fearless. That's not going to happen. First fear is still going to roll around. You tell yourself, hey, my body's allowed to be afraid. My mind is allowed to be afraid. It's allowed to freak out and give me thoughts and give me feelings. I just don't have to add more freak out to that, right? But you allow the first fear, right? You allow the first fear. How's your day going, Wonder Bro? It's going good, Tony. How are you doing, dude? News always making it worse. Yep. That's what the news is good for, right, Maddie? That's what the news is good for. That's what the news is good for. I'm definitely not in a league of my own. There is like so many people. I know you're not on the Discord, but I've been posting a lot of pictures in the Discord in my coaching channel of all the people who have sent me messages like saying things like, oh my God, I am like myself again and life is great. And I've been posting those over there because I want people to realize that there's a lot of people out there healing. And just because you're still struggling doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means that you're still trying to do something about those thoughts and feelings. You need to create more separation, right? And that was the point of today's stream. Without adding second fear to the symptoms, yes, Kay. Second fear is when you take those symptoms personally and then you fight with them. Your body's allowed to freak out. Your mind's allowed to freak out. It should be in the description, PJ. You will get bullied over there. It is a no-nonsense sort of place. Well, there's a lot of nonsense, but it's definitely not a place for reassurance. Trish, hey, Trish, thank you so much for the $20 tip. Drop some purple hearts in the chat for Trish. That takes us to 85, right? Did I do that math correctly? I think that's correct. You guys know I can't basic math skills, you know. Thank you, Trish, so much for the $20 tip. I'm saying this every time today. All of my tips today are not going towards me. They're going towards a family member who's in some serious need of some help right now. They don't know I'm doing this, but after we get off stream today, I'm going to call them up and say, look, here's what I got, and I'm going to send it to you, and you can thank my channel for it. So thank you, guys. You're about to make someone really fucking happy, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so fucking much. You guys are about to make someone really happy. I can't express to you, without going into their private personal life, I can't express to you how much they need this, so thank you so fucking much, dude. I did not expect to get 85 today. They are going to be very thrilled. Thank you. Thank you for the purple hearts. Really appreciate it. If you got $1 million tip, is it still going to the neighbor? We'll talk about it. You know, if I get $1 million tip, then we'll talk about it. That was a good one. Woke up early with heavy DPDR this morning, and I had to go to work. Felt so terrifying, like I was about to panic and go crazy, but I said, it's just anxiety. Let it be. And I went about my day and eventually wore off. Yeah, so creating separation, not adding second fear, riding the wave, right? And carrying on with your day. That is the two keys right there. Setbacks are just your original symptoms, but they feel bad when you have had respite from them. I don't know why that was so hard for me. But they are not worse. Setbacks are not when you experience symptoms. Setbacks are when you get involved and you start fighting with it, because now you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing and it's not helping your nerves. So feelings coming back around or thoughts coming back around, right, are not a setback. A setback is when you pick up bad habits again. Have you ever done an interview with a client on your something about their recovery? If not, it's cool. Just give plenty of good advice. Just curious. There's a couple podcasts on the channel with people that have watched me. So you can watch those. Just type in podcast, Vacate Fear podcast. You might find a few of those. All the symptoms really aren't bad themselves. It's the what ifs and the fear of what's about that the suffering comes from. Yes, I agree, PJ. 100%. Yeah, a setback is only when you start to pick up bad habits again. That's a setback. Just experiencing thoughts and feelings is not necessarily a setback. It's just going to happen during recovery. Kevin, dude, thank you so much for the $5 Cash App. Show some love to Kev in the chat, man. Purple Hearts, thank you guys. Thank you guys. This is really going to help him out. I really appreciate it. They're okay. They're just going through a tough time, so I'm going to help them out a little bit. All right, man. We are at that 1 hour mark. Chat, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for everything that you've done, right? I love you guys. I really appreciate you. Thank you for all the likes and the love on the videos, man. We're going to keep the videos pumping. Check me out on all my other social media, Vacate Fear, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We got it all. But anyway, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for all that you do. Okay, have a beautiful rest of your day, beautiful rest of your evening, a beautiful night. So then if you didn't go back with bad habits, you wouldn't get a setback. True, yes. All right, guys, I love you so much. Stay awesome.